I really wanted to start today's video with that scene from Black Panther where T'Challa walks out of a wrecked aircraft and says, "As you can see, I am not dead." But it's obviously under copyright, so I was not able to do that. I am, however, very much not dead. So, hello guys, it's been a while. Coming back with something very different to what you are used to on my channel, a base tour. But before I take you on a tour of my base, I think I owe you a bit of an explanation. Where the hell have I been for the past 3 months? Well, the answer is simple. I got a massive Project Zomboid burnout after playing this game non-stop for 9 months in 2025. I think I've had enough and I needed to take a break. I tried several times to put some videos together, but I really did not like them, and I figured, you know what, Gertrix, you probably need to step back for a while and just come back with new energy. And that's what I'm gonna try and do today. Today I'm gonna take you on a tour of a base I've built in what is probably my favorite Project Zomboid playthrough ever. And I am making this because I have a feeling that there's gonna be an update to the game soon, which is gonna completely brick my save, and I just want to commemorate it. And I also know that a lot of you really enjoy these types of videos. You can compare your concepts, maybe find some inspiration for your bases. So yeah, let's dive right into it. But any good base tour needs a decent origin story, so world, meet Julia Padish, a survivor who's been alive for 6 months at the time I'm making this video. And in case you're wondering what it is like to play a character that's 6 months old, well, you have a lot of skills, let me just say that. I've been grinding out most of them throughout this playthrough, putting specific emphasis on skills that I needed, but also was doing it for fun. I actually hit electrical level 8, don't ask me why. This adventure started all the way back in Muldrow, with actually a different character, which died along the way, but I liked this playthrough so much that I've done something I usually don't do, which is continue with another character. I spent a few weeks in Muldrow collecting necessary tools and items that I will need for the journey to Louisville, and when I felt I'm ready, I set my sights on a very specific location. Now, since the base that I'm gonna show you is very close to the Louisville airport, it made no sense for me to break through the main military blockade, and I actually entered the Louisville quarantine area through a different location. Namely, I got in through a checkpoint down the Ernest Cooper Road. Now, by no means was this easy, but it was much easier than the main entrance to the city. And conveniently, it was incredibly close to the base. Now, before I'm gonna show you what I've actually done with this place, I wanted to show you how it looks originally, as I think it will make sense to do kind of a before and after type of a comparison. And since I did do a lot of work around this area and it looks nothing like the way it looks right now, being able to shoot this clip in the original location, it's a bit of a trip down the memory lane and reminds me of how much effort I've put into making this base. As you can see, this is a 2-story separate farmhouse with a large barn right outside of it with a dedicated area for chickens and lots of space. Now, the house itself, it's fine. It's got a fireplace, it's got a dining room, it also has a second floor which is mostly just bedrooms, and the location itself is really cool because it's just outside of Louisville airport, so you have an easy access to that industrial complex which is situated over there, but also Louisville itself is just a very short drive away, so this place has pretty much everything. And that's exactly why I chose it for this long-term playthrough. So let me invite you to my base 7 months into the game. Starting out with the car park area, which I expanded and separated out the individual parking spots with hedges. I am a huge fan of hedges. I would take a hedge over a regular fence any time of the day. I really like the way they look and they just give this cool rich mansion vibe to this base. I really like this area of it. And in case you are wondering where did I get all of these hedges, well, there is this very specific park in Louisville. I'm showing it on the map right now. Let's just say it took me a while to find and bring all of these into the base, but it was definitely worth it. The barn has been completely reorganized into 3 separate sections. There is the drying section, the workshop section, and the armory. Each section has its own purpose, and it also helps me keep organized better with all the stuff that I've looted over the 7 months that I've been playing. There's space for everything, for car tools, for materials, for regular tools, for weapons. It's much easier to find things if you just keep them all in order. It took me over 6 months to find a sledgehammer, but I finally found one and was able to break through the walls of the barn and put in doors, making this entire indoor-outdoor workshop into a single, logically organized space. And in case you were wondering, I was actually leveling up blacksmithing in this playthrough. I gone up all the way to level 8, and now I don't have a book, so I'm not going any further without finding the book. Leveling up blacksmithing is just a massive pain, and I think we all know it. Behind the workshop, there is a very specific area that I've dedicated for everything related to processing animals. That sounds horrible. So it does have a different floor. This one is sand floor with a bit of gravel. I've got all kinds of different workstations for, animal processing or food processing. And I've closed it off with this nice tall brick wall. This all creates this sort of workshop space dedicated to various different types of activities that you can do. And look, I'm gonna be honest, I really enjoyed this area of the base. Yeah, I can hear the cows are dying for some attention. Now, I kept the original area for animals because I figured it's actually well planned out space-wise. I just added a few things which I think makes this whole animal range look much more natural. See, I've added some hay stacks here and there. I've added another chicken coop. I do have a lot of animals, much more than what you can originally find here. This is Rambo. I found him and picked him off the streets in Louisville. I figured he's gonna be much safer and much happier here than just constantly running away from zombies. I've built this small barn for the animals. Now, this doesn't necessarily serve any major purpose, but I did notice one thing which is really cool. If it starts to rain and it rains constantly, the animals tend to go inside and seek shelter there. I did not know that is a thing, but when I first noticed it, felt, yeah, it's actually cool. Now, obviously, I also have a section which is dedicated to crops. I mean, any long-term survival shelter cannot be complete without them. In this particular case, it's just mostly wheat and hops. We are past the regular vegetable growing season. I've got so much food, I have no clue what to do with it. So I'm just waiting for these to grow so I can grind them into flour and probably bake a lot of cakes. When I was planning out the space in this backyard, I did get rid of most of the trees except this small section over here because I figured if I'm gonna bring a park bench and a bird fountain, this is going to make a really nice cozy place to sit down in the summer and read a book. Tell me what you think, guys, because this is super low effort but adds a nice taste to this entire space. And finally, the house itself. Now, I did spend a lot of time decorating it. There is this ongoing joke that Project Zomboid is basically just The Sims, but with zombies chasing you and eating you, and this entire playthrough felt a little bit like this. I've invested hours into making this entire location, making this base and all the surroundings look nicer and nicer with every single day. What you will notice is that I bring in a lot of plants, and I also like to collect paintings and all kinds of different stuff. I've got separate sections for different collectibles. One of the things that I really like to collect are stock certificates and postcards. This is a very specific drawer dedicated for collecting these particular items. I actually got quite a lot of them after looting so many houses over the past 7 months. I like to decorate specific rooms in themes. So in the kitchen, you can see these pictures of pies that I stole from a cafe in Louisville. You'll notice upstairs there is a game room and you're gonna find posters there. On the first floor, I got rid of all the bedrooms except one where obviously my character is sleeping, and I've remodeled the rooms. One of them is a library where I can do the reading whenever the weather is crappy outside and I cannot use my park bench. And this is also where I keep my card collection. Now, I think I've got all of them. I don't think I'm missing any single one. And finally, the bedroom, the place where the character sleeps. I also keep most of my spare clothes, and I do have my tailoring workstation here, but the one thing that I am missing is, well, plushies. I need to find more plushies. I just got a few. I want to have the whole set, so I am actively looking for those now. And finally, the front yard. I really wanted to make it, you know, feel like a mansion. I wanted to get rid of just like a regular, plain old boring grass, so I decorated it. And it's actually quite insane how many options you have, even considering that this is just pure vanilla without any extra mods, any extra features. Of course, it does take time, it does take a bit of skill, and you also have to know where to find these particular decorative items, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, look at this. This looks so much better than the original, right? And if at the very end you're gonna ask me a question, Gertrix, but why bother? Why not just kill zombies? Well, that is a fantastic question. My answer? You gotta do something in order to not go crazy when you're all alone in the apocalypse, right? And in all honesty, I really enjoyed the process of decorating this base, and let me know, did any of you ever base in this particular farm? Maybe you also like to play around with decorating things. What are the things you go for when you're decorating bases? Let me know in the comments. Now, before I'm gonna close today's video, just a huge thank you for everyone that stayed with the channel. Huge shout out to Blight for staying a member despite me being totally inactive. And welcome to all the new subscribers. It feels amazing that I haven't posted anything in almost 3 months and you guys keep on joining. I'll try to be a bit more active than before now that my job has become a bit less crazy than it was the last 3 months, and I'll try to post more regularly. Now, if you want to hang out or maybe share some pictures of the bases that you're very proud of, the link to my Discord is in the description of the video. Hop on, let's hang out there. And that's pretty much everything that I've prepared for you today, guys. Thanks for watching, thanks for staying till the end of the video, and see you next time. As always, I'm Gertrix. Cheers.